In a small village surrounded by rolling hills and deep forests, there lived a young boy named Ethan. Ethan was known for his adventurous spirit and kind heart. He loved exploring the woods near his home, often pretending he was on a quest to discover hidden treasures or ancient secrets. One evening, as the sun was setting and the sky was painted with shades of orange and pink, Ethan decided to venture deeper into the forest than he had ever gone before. He carried with him an old lantern that his grandfather had given him, saying, "This lantern will always light your way, as long as your heart is true." Ethan wandered through the forest, marveling at the tall trees and the sounds of birds singing their evening songs. As darkness began to fall, Ethan noticed that the path he had been following was no longer visible. The forest around him grew darker, and the shadows seemed to stretch and move. Ethan's heart began to race. He realized he was lost. But then, he remembered his grandfather's words about the lantern. He took it out, lit it, and watched as its warm, golden light illuminated the area around him. The lantern made him feel safer, but he still didn't know how to find his way home. As he wandered, Ethan heard a faint sound coming from deeper in the forest. It was a soft, muffled cry, almost like someone was in trouble. Despite his fear, Ethan knew he had to find out who needed help. He followed the sound until he came to a small clearing where he found a young deer caught in a hunter's trap. The deer's leg was injured, and it was struggling to free itself. Ethan knew he couldn't just leave the deer there. He set his lantern down and carefully approached the frightened animal. Speaking softly, he managed to calm the deer enough to release it from the trap. The deer looked at Ethan with grateful eyes, and Ethan felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing he had done the right thing. But now, with the deer free, Ethan realized he had wandered even further into the forest, and the night had grown darker. He was more lost than ever. He picked up his lantern, but as he started to walk, the light suddenly flickered and went out. Ethan was plunged into darkness, and for the first time, he felt completely alone. Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes as he sat down on a fallen log, unsure of what to do. He missed his family and the warmth of his home. But as he sat there, something amazing happened. The deer he had helped returned, gently nudging him with its nose. It began to walk away, then looked back at Ethan, as if urging him to follow. With nothing else to guide him, Ethan decided to trust the deer. He followed it through the dark forest, over roots and under branches, until finally he saw the familiar edge of the forest and the lights of his village in the distance. The deer had led him home. When Ethan reached his house, his family was overjoyed to see him. They had been worried sick, and his grandfather hugged him tightly. Ethan told them all about his adventure and how the deer had saved him after he had helped it. That night, as Ethan lay in bed, he realized something important. The lantern his grandfather had given him wasn't just an object, it was a symbol of something much greater. The light inside it came from doing what was right, even when it was difficult. And even when the lantern's light went out, the kindness and courage he had shown had brought him home.